Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit from the WoW podcast, Blue Please on CynicalBrit.com. I have some more daily quests for you. These are from the PTR. These are two new ones that you haven't seen before. They are part of the line that leads up to getting into the Firelands daily quest hub. Now, I can confirm that you do not need to do these dailies in order to do the Firelands raid, because I was hanging out outside the raid portal earlier. That gateway that was on the big Sulfuron Spire, that is now open. However, you cannot get into it. Because the login servers are currently down, but the PTR is up, we had about 50 people sitting around on this PvE server on the PTR, not able to get into the portal, as it's not up yet, dueling, and, well, dueling. Wasn't the most interesting thing ever, but hey. Some of the more sensible people have figured out exactly what all this content is all about, so they've gone to do their dailies. Now, I'm keeping up on these dailies so that I can get into the Firelands hub as quickly as possible. As far as I'm aware, I'm pretty much completely on top of this at the moment, and I've got as many marks of the world tree as I can. You're going to need 20 to access the Firelands daily quest hub, and as it would appear, and I believed this yesterday, and I did a couple more quests here and confirmed this, you can earn 4 marks per day, so it's going to take you 5 days of constant daily questing in order to get into the Firelands hub. Now, this quest is extremely simplistic. It allows you to kill pretty much any mob in this area. You just need to kill 7 of them. It's possibly the least imaginative thing they've come up with, so I don't think you really need to see any more of that. I'm going to skip ahead to the one that's more interesting and has a few cool mechanics. Now, this is another one of these 2-part remote hand-in quests, and in this case, you use the feather to become the spirit of Aviana, and that means you're a giant bird, basically, or a harpy, inexplicably. I got kicked off the server a few times while I was doing this because the PTR's unstable right now, and I logged back in and used it, and I turned into a harpy. I don't really know why, but So, you fly around this area, and what you've got to do is use the call of the flock, and you will gather some songbirds. Now, the cool thing about this quest is that every time you successfully grab a bird, you get a buff, and depending on the size of the bird, depends on how large the buff actually is. So you can see right there, I've got 7 stacks after grabbing one of the eagles and a few of the alpine songbirds. Now, what this effectively means is that every time you do this, you're going to get better at it, and in comparison to the people that have only just started doing it, you're going to be able to gain a fairly significant advantage over them due to flight speed. Soar increases your flight speed, and it stacks, as far as I can tell, exponentially. So if you know exactly where you're going, you've got a good route, you can finish this quest in no time at all. If it's your first couple of times trying it, then the chances are you're going to be either outmaneuvered by people, or you're simply going to end up doing it wrong, and you will not be able to stack that buff. I like that mechanic, it's pretty cool, and it just means that this quest is going to be less and less laborious the more times you actually do it. That said, I don't really know how it's going to be when everyone is doing this quest, although I do approve of the fact that they are deliberately using different quests every day for different people, so that they can spread out the number of people actually doing these things. Bear in mind, there does seem to be an overlap in quests. For instance, the one that I did yesterday, which involved killing some minions and then howling atop their corpses, that's the same minions that you also have to kill for the kill 7 minions quest. So I imagine there's probably going to be a few problems there when everyone does it. And if this area was particularly busy, I can only imagine that there might not be enough spawns for everybody, and it might just be an annoying activity where you have to fly around and hopefully squawk before the other guy squawks and actually gain the buff and things like that. Otherwise, it could honestly take you all day. But there you go, that's what actually happens. And once you finish this quest, you get the remote hand-in to go on to the next stage. So there's your remote quest hand it in, and this will go on to the next stage, which is a boss stage. And I have to assume that you get one of these quests every day, which will allow you to gain 4 marks of the world tree, as opposed to 2 of them. If you had a day where you only got 2, I think that would be fairly unfair, and also ridiculously random, so I assume they haven't done that. Okay, I'll show you this boss, because he's kind of cool, pretty cool model, and you can also expect this to be used an awful lot inside the Firelands. Now, just like yesterday's Corehound boss, this guy is an elite, although he doesn't really have the means to kill you unless you are incredibly stupid and stand in all of his fires. He will do a Gout of Flame, which you can see right there, and you'll see how much damage this does. And he'll then also do a Shower of Flame. So, as far as I can tell, these fireballs can actually miss if you keep moving, but they do so little damage, there's no point. in actually moving out of them at all, because it's going to reduce your DPS. So, unless he's doing a Gout of Flame on you, just stand around and hit him. Now, you cannot tag this mob, so anyone in this area that gets a hit off on it will actually get the credit. So it's very easy to just completely twat this guy in a group. So any challenge that would come, well, it's evaporated due to the fact that you can just curb stomp the guy in a large group. There we go, he's down, and that will get you the credit, and you have to fly back in order to get it. And that is really that, folks. That is a set of dailies. They can be done in about 10 minutes, give or take. Bear in mind, obviously, I cut all of the downtime out of this, but if you're particularly efficient, yeah, you could do 2 of these dailies in about 10 minutes without too much of a problem. And it will take you about 5 days to access the Firelands hub, and one assumes that's where the most interesting stuff is actually going to be. Okay, folks, that's once again another look at some quests. I will continue to put out these shorter videos as I go through these various quests, show you exactly what to expect, and if there's anything complicated about them, how to actually do them. And I believe we have to wait 3 more days. Oh my god, 5 daily quests. Yeah, can you see how few daily quests I do? I don't care about dailies. I really don't. But yeah, in about 3 days' time, I should gain access to the Firelands hub, assuming that it's open, and I will be able to show you the content within. My name is TotalBiscuit, and I will see you next time.